two sides line up at bright and breezy Headingley. It's Webb at full-back, then Donald, Smith, Senior and Hall. Sinfield moves to stand-off, and Danny Maguire moves to scrum-half to cover the injured Rob Burrow. The forward pack, Luluai, Badiris and Peacock. Jamie Jones-Buchanan and Kirk in the second row. Ablett is the loose forward. And the bench for the Rhinos occupied by Lauatiti, Diskin, Bailey and Burgess. Coach is Brian McLennan. For Hull, Tony returns to the side for the first time this year. Calderwood, Whiting, Yeaman, and it's also a first appearance of 2009 for Gareth Rayner. All those changes mean that Richard Horne can operate at standoff alongside the scrum half Chris Thorman. The forwards Dowes, Berrigan returns after injury and Thackeray. Burnett, Tickle and Radford comes back, the captain, also after missing last week's game against Warrington. With King, Houghton, Lee and Moa on the bench for the coach, Richard Agar. Well, they collected a real bonus on Saturday, did Hull, because Huddersfield's 54 points to 6 win at Wakefield put the Wildcats below them on points difference in the table. Hull come into this match, as you've just seen, now lying in 6th. They were joint top in March, having won 5 in a row at the start of the season, but they've lost 6 of their last 8. They did win their last away game, though, at Salford, and they have been doing really, really tough with injuries this year. 4 internationals out at any one time during 2009, but a timely return to face the Rhinos for the Kiwi international Motu Tony and the Great Britain and England star Gareth Rayner, who faces here his former club, who've won 4 and lost 4 of their last 8, and they're looking to avoid that 3rd consecutive home defeat in the Super League. They last lost 3 in a row in the league at home 7 years ago, June, July 2002, when they lost here to St Helens, Warrington and Castleford. And if you include the cup tie against St Helens, they actually have lost their last 3 here. Saints in the cup, Salford and Harlequins. Their last win at home, March the 27th, 42-14 against the Catalan Dragons. Talking of the French team, we have the French referee in charge tonight. Thierry Alibert will control things out there in the middle. It's a lovely night, though, for Rugby League. The Cranes over on the far side, above the North Stand. They are doing some big reconstruction work on the cricket ground behind the North Stand. And I'm sure that, well, hopefully all that will be in time for when the Ashes test comes to Headingley later on in the year. Leeds and Hull then in the Engage Super League. The champions in action. This is the final match of round 14. Thierry Alibert blows the whistle. Kevin Sinfield with the boot. We're underway here. And Thorman tips the ball inside to Jamie Thackeray, and Thackeray will look strongly at Jamie Peacock. Thackeray, one of several players here playing against his former club.
He made it quite clear already that the return of Tony at full-back and, of course, on the wing for Gareth Rayner, but they will be somewhat rusty. And I've just had a real good look at the hooker, Sean Berrigan. His right knee is strapped so heavily he could hardly trot out, never mind run.
And there he is, taking that tackle from Kylie Luluai. And also in quickly was Danny Badiris. It's interesting that we've got Badiris up against Berrigan, the 2 opposite number 9s tonight. They've opposed each other many times at State of Origin level. Berrigan, the Queenslander, and Badiris, the New South Welshman. But they've never gone head-to-head in the hooking role before. So there's the first for you tonight.
Well, Richard Agar, the Hull coach, who will not be happy with that kick and chase. That was very poor, right down the throat of Scott Donald. It's been a problem for the Black and Whites for quite some time this year.
Been very difficult for them, though, to get any sort of rhythm going with all the injuries and all the problems, of course, with visas, apart from anything else. They've lost Michael Crocker because of that. And I've also been told today that Luaki, the man they're hoping to bring in from New Zealand, is waiting for the visa to be cleared. But he has had an accident at home and he's had to have surgery on a cut hand. He put his, or rather a cut arm, he put his finger through a plate glass window at home when moving some furniture on his patio. So even when he arrives, he might also not play for a wee while. High kick here to test Calderwood. And Calderwood does well. He diffuses that from inside his own in-goal area. He did get on with it quickly. Now he can. The referee blows the whistle.
Did ever so well. Under the attention of Ryan Hall there. Real pressure take. Rather surprised me there. You can see the lengthening shadows that Leeds opted to dink the ball onto the left-hand side, when surely the sun will be right in the eyes if they kick into the right-hand corner as Leeds are attacking.
Maybe they see Mark Calderwood as a little bit of a weak link in defence as Hull win the first penalty of this match. Interference at the ruck by the Leeds Rhinos. But you may remember that the last time that we saw Mark Calderwood here at Headingley, he was in the colours of the Wigan Warriors, and I think it was probably the performance in front of Tony Smith that got him the place on the plane to England in the World Cup.
You're spot on, Eddie, but it wasn't by his prowess with hand in the ball in the hand, should I say. It was for his magnificent defence on that particular night. But we've already mentioned Gareth Rayner. He'll be rusty. Why not kick to him?
They might do. Only 3 minutes old, and that's Berrigan at dummy half. He finds Chris Thorman. Thorman looks and finds the runner, Motu Tony. He tries to go in between Lee Smith and Kevin Sinfield. Pulled down. Yeeman is the dummy half for Hull. He'll have a little foray towards that Leeds Rhinos goal line, and the end behind which all the Hull supporters are massed. This is Thorman on the inside to Motu Tony. Down he goes on the last tackle.
Nice
4 metres away.
Nice little inside move there by Thorman.
Thorman again. Chip to the corner, and that's very easy over on that far side for the defender, and of course it's Ryan Hall. Here is Keith Senior, big milestone for Senior tonight, his 300th Leeds appearance, and Keith Senior joining an elite band of players who've made 300 appearances for this famous club. Jamie Jones Buchanan drives it up on tackle number 3. There he is, Keith Senior, the evergreen member of the Super League. He's been with us every season since it began in 1996.
Been a tremendous servant, hasn't he? But on this occasion, the Frenchman Thierry Alibert. The one thing about Mr. Alibert, he doesn't like any messing around at the play of the ball, which is good for the viewers and, of course, the spectators here. Quite a good crowd as well.
If Hull are to contain Leeds, they know that they must control that speed of the play of the ball. They need to be really dominant in the tackles and control that wrestle.
This is Peacock, and Hull can say that they won that little contest. Badiris to Maguire, gets the ball away. Good pass, good flat pass. Badiris waits again at dummy half as Kirk plays it to him. That's Webb. Here is Senior. Gets the ball away to Danny Maguire. Maguire, though, is cut down by a good tackle from Jamie Thackeray. Here goes Badiris. Ball back on the inside to Ian Kirk. Good defence so far from Hull. 4 tackles gone. Badiris, 20 metres away, finds Jamie Peacock. Peacock looks behind him, it's Maguire. Here now is Sinfield. Sinfield fires the pass to Lee Smith. Lee Smith cuts inside. Oh, that's poor defence. It's a decent drive from Lee Smith. It took some scoring, but it's pretty poor defence, I must say, from the Hull rear guard. He went through about 3 powder puff tackles then, although he got a poke in the eye for his pains by the looks of things. But Lee Smith has given Brian McLennan a great start to this match. It's his try, and Lee Smith, he's played in the last 2. He missed the previous 6 before that. 4 of them were lost, and Lee Smith has given the Rhinos the start that they wanted here at Headingley.
Simple basic rugby league, just good solid work by the forwards. Interesting to see how they utilise Peacock as a first receiver. The long pass cut out 3 would-be defenders, and when they had the numbers there, as Eddie has already mentioned, pretty poor defence. You'll find that when he steps back on the inside, they really should have gone for him. Thorman tried to go ahead and ball, but looks like Smith got a real bad poke in the eye. That'll be shutting very quickly indeed.
Lee Smith's first try since February the 6th against the Celtic Crusaders. Not been as prolific as he has been in the past, Lee Smith, but that's an important try for his team. And can Kevin Sinfield add the extras here? Not this time. It's Leeds 4, Hull FC 0.
Well, we mentioned the fact that Rayner a little bit rusty, and he certainly was on this occasion. He's caught in no man's land, and when the sliding defence comes across, that really has to be knocked down. Smith with an easy 4-pointer.
Leeds have been outstanding this year, Eddie, with their defence. By far an improvement on last year when, again, they were the best defensive side. But more recently this year, they haven't been quite as threatening when attacking opponents with the ball. In fact, on average, they're scoring almost 10 points a game less this year than they did last season. I think that the Leeds supporters had a sound of relief, really, there. It was a good team try. There've been some good offloads on the far side of the field. Nice passing from Peacocker forward in the middle of the field. And they're starting to build again. Getting the right balance in your efforts between attack and defence is difficult for all sides. And Leeds, I suppose, want to just improve their attacking options.
Here they are in possession with Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Let's go down to the sideline and join Bill.
Eddie, you pointed out the rustiness maybe of Gareth Rayner on that whole defence there, but he's got every reason to be rusty, because not only is it he and Motu Tony making their first appearances of the season this evening, first game of any sort, because neither have had the opportunity of a reserve team game, and the training they've had has only been minimal since they've come back from injury. So it really is a case of in at the deep end for both of them.
Yeah, very much so. Richard Agar said it's good to have them back in the side. It looks a lot better on paper, but I don't think we should expect too much too soon. He does well there, though, Rayner. Gets it away to Motu Tony.
Well, it's amazing with the three quarters. If all they need is just a clean break, lift the spirits, enthusiasm, get the adrenaline pumping through the body.
Eamon get to his feet, play it to Berrigan. Berrigan then tips the ball inside to Mike Burnett. Mike Burnett, 20 years of age, 2-year extension to his contract at the start of this month. That's a good ball from Thackeray, but put down it was by Richard Horne.
Just going to make the point that Richard Agar, the whole coach, made a good switch when Richard Horne wanted to go into the full-back position, but now that Tony's come back, remember when we did the televised game against Warrington, Hull at times needed someone to control them out there at first receiver, and Richard Horne has got to have that responsibility tonight.
9 minutes gone, Leeds ahead 4-0.
Oh, that looked forward.
Very well claimed. Well, the referee must have heard you, and he has given that as a forward pass from Badiris. It was very well controlled in the end by Kevin Sinfield.
Little doubt that was forward. Well, it's very rare you see it from the man of this calibre.
You know, it could possibly be the wind. I was on the field before the match. Tremendous wind blowing from the left-hand side of your screen down to the new stand, the Carnegie stand at that end. And sometimes playing with the wind behind you can be a disadvantage, particularly when trying to throw a longish pass.
The tall figure there of Richard Whiting going down in that first tackle, this set of 6. This is Lee Radford. Radford, of course, the Hull captain these days, but he has tasted a little bit of success in the Cup and the Super League against Leeds with the Bradford Bulls in his days there, and that's the strength of the wind that's blowing from left to right as you watch. That's Berrigan, fires the pass to Tickle. Here is Whiting again. Whiting, though, is muscled out of it by 2 defenders. Maguire was one of them, Senior the other. Radford once more. Back it comes to Horne, and then to Thorman, and then to Tony, and here is Yeaman, who skips inside one, but there is always reinforcements there for the Leeds Rhinos, and that's the last tackle. Burnett this time is dummy half. Oh, that's an awful pass, really. I think that was aimed for Thorman. They got away with it, and Radford, he'll hoist the kick. That will hang in the wind, and
it's
that has bounced down. Oh, Whiting has scored! Well, Thierry Alibert won't give it straight away, but I think he has actually got this because he flicked it himself, did Richard Whiting, and he collected it out of the air, and he has touched down. He's certainly onside.
Yep, no problem with it there. Well, it was a right mess-up. It should have gone to Thorman. It finished up going into the hands of the skipper, Lee Radford, who I must say, not noted for his kicking game, but this was superb. Now, it comes off his own head, that's fine. It didn't hit a Leeds player, and he regains it before it gets... So that's fine. It can't be classified as a knock-on.
Well, it goes back off a Leeds player if it is off Ryan Hall. Well, that's play on.
Yeah, that's play on. Whiting, he pulls the ball onto his own head. He can do that. He can head it 4 or 5 times if he likes, as long as he catches it before it hits the ground. And that's exactly what Mr. Whiting does. TRY.
Well, Ben Thaler's the video referee. He's not 100% convinced yet. Now
Should
he is,
be
maybe.
now, yeah. Well, from the error.
Try is given to Richard Whiting. It's 4 apiece. Hull strike back. And Richard Whiting tries in each of his last 3 before tonight, 4 of the last 6. He came back from a broken leg over Easter. He'd been out for over a year. They're gradually getting their star men back and into a bit of form. It'll be a relief to everyone at the KC Stadium.
It was a shocker, wasn't it? Right over the top of the man that should have got it, Thorman. And the skipper said, hey, it's the last. Let's give it some air. And Whiting says, I'll take the 4. Super kick. Under a lot of pressure there from Peacock. And not the best attempt by Ryan Hall. He's a tall man, though, he's Whiting.
So there he is, Richard Whiting. He has played for England in the past, and he might just be nudging his way back into the England picture if he continues as he has since Easter. Tickle is a great goal kicker against the wind. He's kicked it, and Hull have the lead. Tremendous kick from Danny Tickle in the conditions, and a great try from Richard Whiting, created by Richard Agar's captain, Lee Radford, the most unlikely of kickers. But suddenly, Hull FC are the team with the advantage.
And you take your chances with having such a tall fellow in the centre. Brian McLennan will not be too impressed with the ability of both the centre and the winger, not getting to that as quickly as possible. But full credit to this Hull FC side. They've taken the lead.
Eddie, I don't think Richard Whiting's best position is as a centre, but at the moment injuries dictate he has to fill in that role. He's one of those players, though, who just has a knack of being in the right place at the right time. Remember the try he scored against Warrington when Calderwood kicked it back on the inside? He's just got an instinct, really, to be around where the ball needs to be, and good skills as well to take that catch.
It's more than an instinct, Phil. It's a work ethic. He puts himself in those positions constantly, and sooner or later, luck goes his way. So he's a very, very underestimated player.
Jamie Thackeray will play the ball here to Berrigan. You might notice that number 14, Matt Diskin, is on there, and Danny Badiris has gone off. That's very early in the piece for Badiris to leave the field. Berrigan with the kick down the centre. That's not the best kick, but at least it hit the ground and bounced a couple of times in front of Brent Webb. Here comes the Leeds full-back. Wonder what the news is of Danny Badiris, Bill?
Well, it's still early days, but Danny Badiris came off and went straight down to the dressing room and seemed to be holding his back, his lower back, and problems for Brian McLennan. There's a lot of chat on the walkie-talkies between him and the bench down here, between Willie Poaching on the other end of the headset over what is the problem with Badiris, and I think they're still trying to figure out how serious it is, but it certainly has caused a few ripples for the Rhinos, the early departure of Badiris from this game.
It's a blow for Leeds Rhinos team. That's already missing Rob Burrow there on the right-hand side of your screen, briefly. And that's not the best kick either from Kevin Sinfield, but the wind is at his back. It really held up, didn't it, for Lee Radford?
With Danny Badiris leaving the pitch, it doesn't really change the balance of the Rhinos. They played without him more than they played with him this side. Matt Diskin, although a very different player, still gives the Rhinos a lot of direction. He's very dominant in what he wants from his forwards, and it won't unsettle the Rhinos as much as you'd think. They need to probably man up a little bit, probably get the eye of the tiger a little bit, and be a little bit aggressive in what they're doing. Keep doing that all night long.
Drive here from Jamie Thackeray. It's ended, and whoops, the little fella. Obviously, I wonder if he knew that Mark Calderwood was there.
I don't think so. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
He threw it behind, he threw it over his head.
Yeah, of course he did.
Straight into the face of Mark Calderwood.
Once
upon a time, of course, a real hero on this ground. And here he is again, Calderwood. He'll hack that forward. There's a massive chase on here. Oh, Donald didn't get it. It's knocked back. It's what's happened there. The referee says play on. Ryan Hall to the rescue, I think.
Oh, surely there was a fingertip there from Donald.
Well, comedy of errors for a moment.
Well, that was amazing, wasn't it? It was similar to the try that was scored. Remember when Calderwood went down that right-hand side, and there surely was something being held back. There was a knock on there. This is what Richard Agar thought about it. He is not impressed.
He managed all that on home soil against Warrington, didn't he, just the other week?
Nice variety in the kick, really. Richard Hornet was who just put that short one over the top. Mark Calderwood's greatest asset is his ability and enthusiasm to chase kicks. If they give him the opportunity to show that speed, he can cause problems for teams.
The kick, meanwhile, from Maguire was played up by Motu Tony. Is that a big error from Motu Tony? I think it is. Was it touched? Well, the referee has asked Ben Thaler to check whether Motu Tony has actually touched this.
Well, it's a fair way down. They went early on the tackle. Oh, that's difficult to assess, isn't it?
Well, that's why he's asked Ben Thaler, the video referee, to have a look at it.
He certainly lunges at it. Yeah, I think he touches it.
I think he touched it because of his reaction as well. You watch, as soon as it goes past him, he turns so quickly to get the ball, Eddie. I think he almost gives himself up.
And let's not forget Motu Tony's just coming off the back of an injury. Probably a little bit of a lack of agility, really.
Well, we said he was going to be rusty. We said the same about Gareth Rayner. Well, that really could have been, and perhaps should have been, head and feet at least to the visitors, way down the field. But as it turns around, let's give full credit to the kick from Kevin Sinfield. They went early, went on the fourth tackle.
Well, does the camera lie, or did Danny Badiris give himself up? He certainly, beg your pardon, Motu Tony. Danny Badiris is off the field. Motu Tony, did he give himself up? Because he certainly made a play at it, there's no question of that.
Yeah.
But whether it actually hit him, well, the video referee Ben Thaler is convinced that he did. This now is Brent Webb, but suddenly opened up for Brent Webb. Quick play the ball, Diskin finds Maguire, here is Ablett. Good tackle low down that was. It had to be as well from Berrigan. Diskin now finds Maguire, Maguire to Sinfield.
Oh, great tackle.
Great tackle by Kirk Eamon. Last tackle here for Leeds. Here is Lee Smith, he's coming back the same way as he scored the try. Gives it to Lauatiti, he helps on to Maguire, here is Sinfield, this is Luluwai. And Hull managed to snaffle him and bring him to ground.
That'll be the turnover. Super stuff. Richard Agar, the Hull coach, will be very pleased with that. They got caught napping when Lee Smith went in for a try early. Their sliding defence just went and slid far too quickly, but not on that occasion. They went up as a unit, pretty solid as well.
More news about Danny Badiris with Bill.
Yeah, the word is that Danny Badiris is back in the dressing room. Tightness in the lower back is the problem, and they're working on him at the moment, trying to loosen things up, in actual fact. And he's been joined in there by Jamie Jones-Buchanan, who's got a smack right on the back of the head. He came off the field, went past me, looking very groggy indeed. So quite congested in that Rhinos dressing room at the moment.
Yes, and 6-4 to Hull, and they have a penalty here because Leeds have been judged to have stolen the ball more than one in the tackle.
Lauatiti certainly reefed it away. Didn't realise that Matt Diskin had just joined. Only briefly, but it was sufficient. Bit of you just get a feeling, bit of frustration there. Leeds looked very strong, very cocky after they scored the try through Smith. And then they've allowed this Hull side, slowly but surely, to get involved. And I think they're quite happy with the way things are at the moment.
4 former Leeds Rhinos in this Hull outfit tonight.
Eddie, just to interrupt you, those are very good meters that Thackeray just made then in the collision, taking Peacock, Luluwai and Diskin forward.
And he is one of them, of course, is Thackeray. That's a big hit on Danny Tickle, though. Kylie Luluwai. Radford has been missed by a couple there, but he goes down on the last in the end.
Well, they're getting some big hits into the Rhinos, but the thing is that Hull are getting over the advantage line. That builds their confidence. Bit of a mix-up here. Oh, looking to get away with it, Thorman.
And it's Tickle with the kick this time, but straight to Donald. That's no problem for him. Well, they're getting in a bit of a tangle, aren't they, on the last tackle of the sets, which means that their kick options are not what Richard Agar would probably want from the training field.
It's kick pressure from Leeds, Eddie. They obviously recognise that there's 3 very, very good kickers on this Hull side. You give them time and they'll put the ball where they want it.
This is Senior. Whoa, great shot by Danny Tickle. Diskin scampering from dummy half, short ball to Lee Smith. Goes round Tickle this time, can't get away from Ewan Dowes though. Quick play the ball. And off the side of the boot by Maguire.
Got away with it.
He did, and he holds his hands up as well.
And again, kicking early in the tackle count, which is catching this whole defence out.
I was surprised, Mike, that they didn't even go early. You know, Leeds have kicked more 40-20s than any other team this year. Wind behind them, hard surface. The kickers they've got. Here's the Thackeray run. Look at here. It's energy sapping for Thackeray to just pump those legs forward, but it lifts his teammates when they're aware that one of theirs is carrying 3 of the opponents forward.
Well, they won at Castleford, of course, a week last Friday. 24-22 did the champions, the third in the table. They do need to win here, though, to close the gap on Hulkingston Rovers and St Helens at the top of the table.
Much better defence from Leeds there. I'm with Barry. You know, they need a little bit of fire in the belly of the Leeds forwards. Need to spark up extremely quickly. And again, a mix-up. Well, you can see there, Berrigan is screaming at everybody and saying, come on, who's going to take it? No one's talking on this whole side at the moment.
Thackeray will take it. That's another good run from him. That's the last tackle. And it's Berrigan to Thorman. There's the kicker-in-chief. Angled kick. Horn is chasing it. Horn is chasing it. Donald gets it, though. Oh, and Donald does really well. He does brilliantly well, Scott Donald. He's got Matu Tony ahead of him. He's got no one else with him in support. But that's a great run. 42 metres he's made. Maguire to Lauatiti. Lauatiti through Dowes. Lauatiti almost through Burnett.
I was just going to say what a great kick and chase it was from Hull. Then all of a sudden, Scott Donald has really got into it, and they've got them for offside. Quick thinking, good play the ball. You could see that they couldn't get back in time.
Scott Donald's done a great job for the Rhinos there. He's caught it on the full, beat a couple of men, gained his side 40 metres and gave them a rolling ruck, so they're playing at speed, and that's the reason that Hull surrendered that penalty.
And look where Leeds are now, courtesy of that early Donald run. Here is Ryan Bailey. Bailey has missed the last 2. There's a man who's returning to Leeds colours tonight. Diskin. Diskin to Maguire. Maguire, great ball! Senior on his 300th Leeds appearance! The evergreen man of the Super League! He has signed for another year in 2010, and they must hate the sight of him in East Yorkshire, because that's his 18th try against Hull, and what's more, it's the 14th that he scored on this ground against the Black and Whites. But it's a special moment for a special player in the Engage Super League.
Absolutely spot on, Eddie, and it all came about by this attempt to try to stop Scott Donald. He really should have been put to ground. They finally got to him. Looked as though that Rayner went pretty high, but from it and from that position, basics. The use of the dummy runner there was absolutely superb. Brilliant stuff. Ian Kirk, they thought he was going to get it, but it went out wide. Quick hands and senior. He is a senior player. His name is Senior. And what a time to score a try on his 300th appearance. Can Sinfield add the extras?
He certainly can. And Kevin Sinfield adds 2 more points to the 151st try in this, his 300th game for the Leeds Rhinos. Brian McLennan's men are ahead by 10 points to 6.
The use of the dummy runner is absolutely superb in this game, and the way that they utilised the big fella, Ian Kirk, outstanding. The centre, Keith Senior, just skirted very close to him. Flat pass, bang, did the rest.
When we talk about Keith Senior, obviously he's a little bit longer in the tooth, as we see Dana Vidiras just stretching away there. Keith Senior doesn't seem to have aged for the last 10 years. There's no greys on his head, Eddie. He's bald as a badger, but an excellent blueprint for a successful career. He works hard, looks after himself, trains hard. Good, clean living lad.
Not a grey hair on his head. I love it, Barry. Well said.
Neither have I.
You've got loads of greys.
Yes, yours are shaved. I don't know what's happened to Keith's.
He'll be happy, Keith, if Hull continued to defend like that. There was just far too much space. The whole defence too congested around the play the ball area, Eddie, and the spacing and numbering out wide made it too easy for Keith Senior to score.
Great offload from Ali Laatiti to Kevin Sinfield. He finds Scott Donald, and he saw that the whitewash was beckoning for the whole defenders then, so he came inside and Burnett gets to him. Smith's the dummy half, now Sinfield, the dab through by Sinfield, he's looking for Brent Webb. Oh, it's a fumble. Oh, is that a second try for Senior?
I don't think so. I think he's just got over the whitewash, but it was a real mess up yet again.
Motu Tony in all sorts of strife, but a brilliant kick over the top. A lovely little dink from Sinfield, and it was right at that padding on the post, and Tony in all sorts of trouble. Not sure, are you?
No, I don't think he hasn't got it down.
That's not a try.
No. I don't think they'll give this. I think the ball bounces up away from Senior's hand just at the final moment. There he misses it. He goes right over the top of it, and I think he's lost it. This will be classified as a knock-on.
All the players are lined up for a tap 22. I think they know what's about to happen.
I think Ben Thaler will rule this out.
Eventually.
Well, he has to make certain.
Could give him the benefit of the doubt here, Eddie.
I think his hand's gone over it. Yeah,
I think he's lost that, Phil, myself.
Yeah, so do I. I think the fact that his hand goes onto the whitewash and not the ball.
But it's out of his hand there.
There's no control. It's a knock-on.
It's a tap restart on the 20, isn't it?
Yep. As far as you and I are concerned. It was a great kick, though, wasn't it, from Kevin Sinfield? Well, it's Ben Thaler.
Well, he's careful, if nothing else, Ben Thaler.
Well, I don't think there's any controlled downward pressure. I think the left arm from Senior is going towards the whitewash and not going downwards, pressing onto the football. I can't see him giving this, but...
Well, Ben Thaler's the man with the button, and it's a no-try decision, and it's a 20-metre restart. Keith Senior so close, though, to a second try on this 300th appearance night for himself.
From local care direct, please go to gate A.
Paul King is on for Hull FC. What a servant this fella's been. He made his debut 11 years ago.
Well, the biggest problem for Richard Agard is to get a message out and say, come on, we've got to get our defence a little bit tighter. They're working hard, they go up as a unit for, say, 5 or 6 minutes at a time, and then all of a sudden, they just lose control.
Here's Ewan Dowes now, one of the 4 ex-Leeds players in the side. This is his 35th consecutive appearance. Oh, that would have got to Motu Tony then as he put the kick in.
I think
Tony felt that.
I think he committed himself already. And fair play to Tony. He just got up straight off the ground. No histrionics. Yeah, I got knocked down, so I'll get back up again.
This is Ryan Hall now for the Rhinos. He's got Diskin at dummy half. It's Peacock. Peacock trying to go up the middle. It's Radford and King with the tackle. Diskin waits, and then we'll play the ball here to Maguire. Comes back inside to Bailey. Last tackle, and there's been a big call here from Lee Smith for a kick down this right-hand side, and Kevin Sinfield obliges, but straight into the arms of Kirk Yeaman.
Yeaman read it ever so well there, anticipated the kick, and he just hesitated slightly to Kevin Sinfield.
Too early.
Offside, says Thierry Alibert against Matt Diskin.
The 27
touch, but that wind has not assisted there. Not much distance forward.
That'll give them hope, won't it, Hull? If he continues this strong wind in the second half. It's good work from Tickle. Gets him in a pretty fine position.
And Houghton's out there now. That's Richard Horne. Here's the skipper, Lee Radford. Just over the halfway line on tackle number 2. So a chance here for Hull to build something. With Thorman, Burnett. Houghton, infield to King. King, on the bounce, it finds its way to Danny Tickle. Tickle goes inside, one would be challenged, gets the ball away. It's a great pass it was to Thomas Lee. Here is Whiting, the whole try scorer. He gets it away also to Houghton. That's brilliant play from Hull in that particular tackle.
Good support as well from the hooker, Danny Houghton.
Now then, they are lining up here and sniffing something, Hull. Thorman. On the bounce, and Yeaman gets it. That touched a Leeds player, but it's play on. Sinfield tidies up. Here is Brent Webb.
Just a touch of panic coming into this Hull attack. Ooh, nearly offloaded there, Lautiti.
But we say panic, Steve. Well, I think the trouble that Hull cause the Rhinos when they promote that ball and getting bodies through the line and passing it to a supporting player, again, it'll trouble any solid defence.
It's getting the right. Bailey. It's getting the right option though when it gets to the fourth or at least the last tackle.
That's the last one. Peacock to his feet eventually. Burnett's a bit hard done by there. Did he have hold of his ankle, or did Peacock make the most of this?
Well, I think Peacock lashed out, but you've got to indicate, or at least try to indicate to the man with the whistle that you're getting away from the play the ball area. I think Burnett failed to do that.
That's a crime for Richard Agar, though, isn't it? It's a penalty that's given away on the last tackle.
Just talking about Mike Burnett, he very much reminds me of Jamie Peacock when he's a younger player. Very impressed with him.
This is Luke Burgess. Leeds are now 16, 17 metres away from the line. And that was Diskin to Bailey.
Look for Webb.
That's Ablett. Webb is loitering with intent, but they go the other way to Sinfield, and Sinfield gets the ball away. Here is Webb. Still Brent Webb. Showed it to Maguire, went with it himself, and still now he gives it to Sinfield. Sinfield running flat. Ball goes to ground, lost a bit of ground there. This is Lautiti. Good work. Very good work by Yeaman. Now Diskin. Diskin looking for support, finds it from Webb again. Webb up the middle. Did he lose that? I think he
lost
did.
it.
The referee looks at the touch judge, who agrees.
And so did Brent Webb. Yep, lost it.
Might have been a little flick by Mike Burnett, however.
Terrific scramble defence from Hull on their own try line there, showing a lot of commitment. They're definitely not out of this game. They don't believe that they're being put out of the game by the Rhinos and continue to aggressively defend their own line.
Well, they won here 20 points to 16 in the Jamie Jones-Buchanan testimonial game. That was on the 26th of January, a pre-season friendly, just before the season started for Leeds, as they built up to the World Club Challenge that they faced from the Manly Sea Eagles.
Hull don't have players with enough speed that will really worry Leeds, a quick side themselves, and they haven't, without Willie Manu, got many players who can break the line. Their only hope is in keeping it alive, and we've seen on a couple of occasions when they've been close to Leeds' try line that they have the potential, by keeping the ball alive, to trouble the Rhinos. Here again now with the penalty. The number of penalties given away by Leeds isn't a surprise this year. The Rhinos have been heavily penalised in Super League.
That's the fourth they've given away tonight. Leeds have received 3 themselves. Hull start on halfway with Houghton to Thorman to Dowes. Tries to go round Diskin, but Bailey was there. Houghton again. Here is Burnett. Solid run from Burnett, but also solid defence from Ablett and Burgess. Houghton. It's Motu Tony. Nice little flick pass to Richard Whiting. Whiting goes down on the third tackle. Deep inside Leeds territory though, as Horn takes it up, finds Thorman, tries to skip inside Sinfield, can't do so. Bailey in assistance again. Houghton, Richard Horn, long pass and forward to Gareth Rayner.
A bit disappointed, Richard Agar. It's one of the very few occasions where they've been able to apply the pressure, especially on this left-hand side. Yeah, a little doubt. You could see there's about half a metre in front anyway before he received it. Good build-up. First time we've seen a combination between Horn and Thorman really working.
Hull have won 4 of the last 7 against Leeds in the Super League, including 2 wins from their last 4 visits to Headingley. They certainly do better than most against the Rhinos.
Well done.
Maguire's the dummy half. Here comes Burgess. Just get the feeling Leeds are missing something. I think they're probably missing a Rob Burrow, aren't they?
Yeah, and also a little bit of fire in the forwards. They're doing the hard work, though. That Brian McLennan will be quite happy. There's a man that they're definitely missing. But I must say that they're just getting through enough work.
They are, Steve. You're right. They're trying to grind this Hull FC side down. You're not.
Knock on. Oh, hands in. The ruck is the decision. I think that's
a second, fifth tackle penalty now that Leeds have had in this game.
Chris.
Well, there's little doubt that Thorman had his hand hanging around, and they make it quite clear. Look, you're not allowed to interfere, and he definitely reefs that ball away. I'm not saying that Kevin Sinfield didn't say, I think we might get a penalty here by releasing it.
Yeah, he's a smart cookie as the Leeds captain.
Oh, go.
This is Diskin. Diskin back it comes to Sinfield. Oh, great offload, or is it? Yes, Lauatiti picks it up. Big Ali Lauatiti takes some putting to ground. Diskin. Bailey. Maguire. Peacock. Couldn't get the pass back to Danny Maguire. He was looking for it. Diskin and dummy half. Finds Senior. He's going for the second, Senior. He's going for the second.
He hasn't got
short.
that. Good work, Monotone. Just got the knees underneath. This will be a spin out wide. Kick.
Kick looking for Brent Webb. And Brent Webb gets it. Thorman didn't even try. But the referee hands it upstairs for clarification again. Must be offside, onside. The decision. Well, he's a mile onside.
Yeah.
Absolute mile onside.
But what on earth was Chris Thorman doing? He makes a feeble attempt to try to shoulder charge Webb out of the way. Watch this. He can do that. Well, that's a try, and it's a soft one too. I'm taking nothing away by the quality of the kicker and the receiver. Wonderful
kick and a wonderful chase and catch and put down by Brent Webb for the try. He's featured in the last 10 following that back injury that kept him out at the end of last year and the run to the grand final, the World Cup, of course, for the Kiwis, and the start of the season 2009. But he has just increased the champions' lead here at Headingley.
Huge bonus.
And
there's
so
a 2 extra.
The extras from Kevin Sinfield.
You know, it looks easy chasing kicks, but if it was that easy, more players would do it. I think we didn't give Jamie Jones-Buchanan enough credit in Castleford here. There's a penalty on the last tackle, which got Leeds down close to the line. And Webb, look at the good footwork by Senior, got them close. And really, as I say, Brent Webb's the only Leeds player here prepared to chase this kick, put himself in the right position, good skills to catch it. Just to the point I made, Jamie Jones-Buchanan at Castleford, they only won against the Tigers because he was prepared to chase Maguire's kick. Not everyone's prepared to work when the body's telling them to rest.
Well, I don't think Chris Thorman will want to see that too often again.
I'm with you, Eddie, because he was very, very lackadaisical. You've got to be aggressive. You've got to say if that's a ball, you've got to go for it. At least attempt to put the man off. He didn't appear to do that.
But you might look at that, Steve, and think that's an easy kick. You've got to take into account you could have hit the crossbar, the upright. Presumption is the mother of all mess-ups.
It was a wonderful kick, and this is a great tackle on Ablett that has resulted in a knock-on and head and feed to Hull here.
Brent, stay in. Come on, guys, come on.
Very frustrated at the moment, Richard Agard.
Okay.
So he won't be impressed by conceding that try just before the half-time break.
Motu Tony goes down. Here is Richard Whiting. Now it's with Danny Tickle. And Tickle trying to spin away from Diskin and Bailey. Houghton, Thorman, Horn, thought better of the pass. Yeaman was waiting for it, but so too was Lee Smith for the interception. 2.5 minutes to half-time. Hull would love another score here. King. Oh, he went behind Chris Thorman then. That was a little tester, but he got the ball away to Motu Tony. Here is Thorman now.
Much better run there by Thorman, a little bit more adventurous, try to get into it. You could see there a couple of passes from Hull. All they were trying to do, they were very flat, they were standing still, run onto it.
Horn's kick to the in goal. Yeaman, a brilliant catch and a fantastic try. That was a lovely little kick through by Richard Horn. And Yeaman, well, he stretched for that as though it was a special try. And indeed it is. It's the 100th try that Kirk Yeaman has scored for Hull. He hasn't scored in the last 6. He's waited a bit of time for it, but it's finally come, and what a great time.
And boy, didn't they need it. He showed the aggression. He showed the will that he wanted to get there before anyone else. This is mine. He gets there before Donald can get a fingertips to it. And Richard Horn has put them on a real road to maybe success. They look down and out just before the half-time break, but that'll lift the spirits. They know they allowed Webb in for a soft try, but Yeaman has responded in the best possible way.
Outstanding try from Kirk Yeaman. 3 times a Great Britain international, 3 times an English international.
And he could very well be the left centre for the next 10 years if he managed to kick on. You know, he's probably struggled, I think, Eddie, by not having the service that so many players have. Paul Cook helped make him look a great centre. Now then, he needs to try and find players inside him who will offer the level of service to give him the ball, sometimes through passes, sometimes the kick option, that can make Kirk Yeaman again become a world beater.
Ian Proctor, our genius on the stats, has just looked in the record books. Kirk Yeaman is the 21st Hull player to reach 100 tries for this club. And it would be icing on the cake if Tickle could add these 2 points to the whole total. 16-10. Oh, he's pushed it in front of the post. 16-10 it stays.
In any sport, you've got to have the desire, you've got to have the will to take it. And it was this occasion that Brent Webb said, I'm having this. That was really poor from Thorman. And then within seconds, they hit back. Yeaman says, this is mine, and it was. It's game on. Good opportunity when it looked as though the Rhinos were going to go in for the half-time lemons and say we are in full control of this game. Oh, no, they ain't.
This is Sam Moa, who is on the field, the Tongan from the World Cup. Described by his coach, Richard Agar, as a project. Well, he's been missing for the last 6. He's back tonight. I wonder how they've worked with him in reserve grade. Lovely chip from Thorman. An invitation for Rayner to chase, but also an invitation for Brent Webb to pick it up. And with 15 seconds to go, Leeds have another opportunity here. This now is Lauatiti. Lauatiti, they're desperate that he doesn't offload the ball again. This will be the last play. Webb to Ablett. Oh, Ablett! The half-time hooter sounds, and Ablett goes over for the try. The chip over the top from Thorman was the gamble. It could have come up with 3 bells. Instead of that, he's got bell, lemon, cherry. And Ablett has scored a try in the corner. What a time for Leeds Rhinos to score. Hull have just got back into the match. And now they've been handed a lifeline again. Ablett with the try as the siren was sounding in the background.
And you've got to give full credit to, to Ali Lauatiti, because he wanted to get on and play the ball as quickly as possible. He knew there was only seconds. And Hull, they've suffered the sucker punch. Get out of the way. It was poor defence from Thorman. He went too high on this fella. And look at the shape of him. If there's anybody who wants to tackle this bloke, you've got to go for his legs. Upper body strength, he just swatted Thorman away, and what looked as though there was going to be a very interesting half-time talk in a positive mood. I'm afraid Richard Agar will be going with a lot of negativity in his brain.
Sinfield to try and add the extras, and he does. That really rubs salt into the wound for Chris Thorman. Ablett's try as the half-time siren sounded in the background. improved by Kevin Sinfield. Leeds Rhinos are ahead by 22. It's Leeds 22, Hull 10, as we're about to start the second half here. It could have been so different for Hull FC. The try right on the bell of the end of the first half. That's a real sickener for Danny Tickle, Lee Radford and the rest of them, and of course the Hull coach Richard Agar. But it's only 2 converted tries as Tickle's kick gets us underway again in this second half. Maguire's underneath the kick-off. Here comes Luke Burgess. That's good defence and great chasing from the kick-off by Paul King and Sam Moa. Oh, Moa wasn't standing square. Lucky that he pulled away from that, otherwise he might have been penalised. Here's Ryan Bailey now for the Leeds Rhinos.
Well, I suspect that Richard Agar would have given them the rounds of the kitchen at half-time because they really needed it. This, you know, an amazing stat. Hull had 9 different kickers of the football in that first 40 minutes, and if that does not instill panic in your side in the kicking game, I don't know what will.
That was a brilliant offload off the deck by Kevin Sinfield to Danny Maguire. He's tackled on the last by Berrigan and Sinfield. It's not played at. That was off the back of the Hull player. It's still the last, so Brent Webb will hoist it downfield into this wind, and that will bounce eventually into the arms of Motu Tony. Sean Berrigan out there, but Danny Medeiros isn't, though he was out warming up at the half-time interval, trying to shake off this back injury that has dogged him tonight.
Good refereeing there by Thierry Alibert. Ball definitely played the man, not the other way around. It went into the back of Danny Houghton.
Great offload from Paul King this time. Here is Calderwood, and he's collared by Bailey. That was Houghton. Here is Berrigan. Berrigan short ball. Oh, Yeaman takes it in.
Super
How did he
take.
hang on to that?
Unbelievable take there.
Calderwood, Berrigan. The referee has picked out a Leeds defender who's offside as Sam Moa drives it in. I think it was Bailey. He couldn't get involved in the tackle. This is the last one here for Hull. Moa plays it to Houghton. Back it comes to Thomas Lee. Here is Richard Horn. Stabs the kick in. And Brent Webb will simply run the ball over the dead ball line. Goal line dropout.
Good work, though. Sensational stuff from Hull. That's what they needed. It was a build-up there that was most impressive, because Richard Agar has sent one man out there to be first receiver. They were all at sea. You expected it from Richard Horn and Chris Thorman in that first 40. None forthcoming, but what has he done? He's put out Sean Berrigan to take first receiver. It could be a different ball game this second half.
Well, Berrigan's a dangerous player, isn't he, when he has the ball in his hands? Whether that's at the play of the ball or whether it's a bit wider, it seems as though they've given Chris Thorman a rest. They've taken him off the field. And Berrigan now might be the man to provide the service for Kirk Yeaman out wide.
Knock on by Moa. That's a huge error from Sam Moa. Well, they conceded penalties on the last tackle twice in the first half, and on the first chance that they have with ball here, Sam Moa knocks on from the goal line dropout. Thierry Alibert simply had to give that.
No option. But why on earth do rugby league players not trap the ball with the foot, take no risk whatsoever, then bend down? There was no pressure applied to him.
Here is Sinfield. This is a chance for Leeds. Now that's a great ball through to Lee Smith. I think Smith has got the pace to get home, and he has for his second try. What an error from Sam Moa. What a costly error. Take nothing away from the Leeds Rhinos, but boy, Hull, they really are contributing to their own downfall here tonight. A few missed tackles in the first half, a couple of penalties, as I say, on the last tackle in the first half, and a knock-on from the goal line dropout at the start of this second half by Sam Moa, who cuts a disconsolate figure in the middle of that group of players. And Lee Smith had all the pace in the world, and he gets over for his second try of the night. He got a try here in the 18-4 win against Hull in 2007. 2 tonight, though.
They force the goal line dropout. It looked as though Hull meant business to get back into it, and then they come up with the error, and from this, watch the pass from Sinfield. See how it just threw the dome and then brought it back. It left the gap, and it was shut the gate. Lee Smith, the error from Sam Moore, but look at this pass here. Superb, he's in top form. He's in top form, this fella, and so is the man that put him through, Kevin Sinfield. But they will be looking towards the error from Sam Moore.
Sinfield adds 2 more points. It's 28 points to 10 now to the Leeds Rhinos. The worst possible start to the second half for Hull.
Well, the key to a great comedian is in his timing. It's the same for a great ball player. Kevin Sinfield's ability to delay the ball. You know what, the temptation is to give it early. He holds it back perfectly for that try.
Well, Hull must be sick as the proverbial parrot right now, and certainly Richard Agar will. When you think, you know, it's all been going wrong for Richard Agar from day one. They started with a whole host of injuries. They lost, of course, Michael Crocker, who was due over here. He got tied up in visa problems. And then, you know, injuries started to take their toll. 4 internationals out at one stage. They've lost Washbrook, looks like. They've lost Cusack for the rest of the season with a dislocated wrist. It doesn't come any easier.
It's hard times, Eddie, but you've got to get through your basics, and that was a basic error. I mean, all his teammates, for obvious reason, they call him grass, don't they? You know, and I mean, when you think about it, it's either grass or lawn. It makes no difference, but he's away.
Diskin is away. He's got Maguire. There is Webb there as well. Tickle just had a slap at him. Tony has missed him. Here is Senior. He's missed by King. Senior will drive it forward. Richard Horne gets the tackle in on the last. And here goes Diskin again. He finds Maguire. Maguire then to Sinfield. Sinfield with the cutout pass, and on the bounce gets it to Donald. Donald then off the boot. Down the line, it bounced on the right side of the whitewash. A scrum will go down, it's head and feet to Hull, and Leeds will hunt for the mistake.
Scott Donald's trying to put a kick into the corner, a typical kick and chase for a winger. Unfortunately, he can't match that. But we talk about Hull, and we talk about their reaction to adversity. Look at the width of the passing here from the Rhinos. Even when it goes to ground, they want to still play. But talking about Hull, and we're talking about first team and saying it's all going wrong, I tell you what they have got. They've got a fantastic academy. There's a young player who played on the wing for them, 16 years of age, Reece Lim. Honest to God, he's the quickest thing I've seen. An outstanding player. Lee Crooks, the head of youth development there, holds high regard for him and a lot of his teammates.
Well, that's great news, but at the moment, things just not going Hull's way. Having said that, they've gone through all this adversity, and at the moment, they are still 6th in the table. There's a long way to go in this season yet. Horne, short ball, he gets it to Mike Burnett. Last tackle, though, for Hull. And Richard Horne to Berrigan, who will hoist a high kick here. It's a tester for Brent Webb, but there's no problem there for Webb. He was able to catch that cleanly. Of course, the other thing that's going against Hull FC, the fact that Hull Kingston Rovers aren't doing so badly at the moment. They have the bragging rights at the moment in the city of Kingston upon Hull. Let's go to the sideline, Bill.
Yeah, Chris Thorman's expression on the sideline summing up the mood in the Hull camp as this game continues to get away from them. Thorman not injured, at least there's no confirmation of that, no suggestion that he's injured. He's withdrawn at half-time, having had a pretty torrid first half, and he's sitting on the sidelines. Lee Radford as well, of course, who came back from injury this evening, and whether Radford is able to return, we'll wait and see. On the subject of returning players, still no sign of Danny Badiris, and yet still word from the Leeds camp that they'd like to get him back out there, but the longer this goes on, the more unlikely that would seem.
Thanks, Bill. This is Gareth Rayner.
Well, they need something special, and maybe Berrigan can produce it.
Well, it's no surprise to those of us who've watched this first 40 minutes that Chris Thorman's taking a breather. He had a horrible first half. He was certainly involved in 3 of the tries in defence, and if you remember, it was him who was chasing down the kick that Leeds scored their other from. But Badiris is continuing his rehabilitation. Nice little kick from Badiris, but it seemed that nobody was reading the script then.
No, they're lacking quite a lot out there. They need a little bit of a spark. Man, they'll be trying out outstanding with the hooker Danny Houghton. He'll give everything, that's for sure. There's plenty out there, but they know they've got to start scoring pretty soon. Leeds quite happy. They'll just keep trundling it through, get the big forwards working. It's going to be difficult for them in regards to the kick. It's a strong wind that's into their face.
This is Maguire. Two missed him then before Yeaman got to him. Last tackle. So the kick down the line from Kevin Sinfield is another belter.
Superb. Is that an outstanding game? I know he has his detractors, but I must say he's controlled this game with great aplomb.
Yes, he moved from loose forward to stand off because Rob Burrow was out injured, and remember, Sinfield actually played in that role alongside Maguire when we saw them go to Huddersfield recently, Steve-O. Huddersfield really motoring well, and Leeds, well, they put the cleaners through them that night.
And not only that, it gives him an opportunity, you know, Kevin Sinfield, when he goes into that stand-off position, he doesn't have to do as much heavy work in the middle at loose forward, so therefore he's got a little bit more energy as well, Barry.
And Kevin Sinfield is a consistent player, and probably we only notice him when he's less than impressive. He probably plays at 7 or 8 out of 10 every single week, and only when he drops below that do we set to look at him and we notice him. Son of Mongoose knows that he's a good player, Kevin Sinfield.
Penalty here for Hull, though. Lying on in the tackle, Jamie Peacock and co.
Well, there's still plenty of time. It's they've got to try to get somebody to inject a bit of enthusiasm out there. They've got the ability, as we've already mentioned, you know, Berrigan taking first receiver, Richard Horne, he needs to get himself involved a lot more now. Take on the defence, ask a few questions.
Moa will play the ball to Danny Houghton. Houghton then will find Berrigan. Well, has he managed to keep that ball in the field of play, Rayner? No, he can't, but it was a desperate effort. New hairstyle for Gareth Rayner, back in the Super League this year.
Well, he's had plenty of time to work on it, that's for sure. It was a shocking pass, and you'll just see that it just his hand touches the whitewash, then his knee. Gets up shaking his head, but the touch judge, Johnny on the spot,
did his best.
I can understand what Hull were trying there. You think Kurt Yeaman, Danny Tickle, Gareth Rayner are probably the best three options at penetrating Leeds' defence, which is remarkable. It was outstanding at Castleford in victory when we last saw them on Sky, and it's been strong again here tonight. It's tough to break down, but Kurt Yeaman would probably be the option that I would most favour if I was a Hull supporter. I'd say, look, let's give it to the number 4. He's looked our strongest ball runner tonight.
Diskin, dummy half for the Rhinos. Here's Peacock, taking on Thomas Lee, taking on Ewan Dowes, taking on Danny Houghton, taking on Mike Burnett. Took 4 to bring him down. Oh, an interception! And it's Richard Whiting. Has Whiting got the legs? Hall is quick, and Hall is too quick.
he tried his damnedest to get through there. The legs just wouldn't pump, would they, for Richard Whiting? Oh, they've gone for another intercept.
Oh, they've got them offside, though. Thierry Alibert, offside, under the post.
They want to get on with it. Get on with it. Quick tap. Come on. Before Leeds can sort themselves out.
Wait. Hold on. 1 feet.
Thierry Alibert's just told Leeds to get both feet behind the line. But maybe they don't understand.
1 feet.
In any language, they don't.
This is Houghton. Here is Richard Horne. Dropped the shoulder left, came back right, and into an ambush.
Someone coming back on the inside, on the angle, not just straight out wide in the arc.
Lee Radford is back out there. Well, Richard Whiting with the interception. He stretched the legs, couldn't get there, but can Danny Tickle get over? No, he can't. That's fantastic Leeds defence. Yet again, on their own line. Houghton fires the pass. Motu Tony, Richard Horne, Ewan Dowes. They're defending brilliantly, Leeds, aren't they? They really are. But can Hull pierce them here? It's with Danny Tickle. It's off the chest of Kirk Yeaman, and the answer is no, they can't.
No advantage, so he'll put the scrum down, but you can see that they were extremely flat. And Donald, good work, got right into his face. Nothing that Yeaman could do about it. They've really come up with some poor options. They've had plenty of opportunities of Hull to get pretty close to this Leeds line, but they're just taking the wrong option time and time again.
This is Diskin. Now Burgess.
Big opportunity here for young Burgess to stamp his authority in this second half.
40-20 here, attempt from Sinfield. Didn't quite get the angle right. Motu Tony cuts it out. Motu Tony running flat, but look at that defence from Leeds again. Forced him flat, really, and then pushed him back a metre or two. Calderwood.
Did a fine job on it, Brian McLennan, the Leeds coach. He's got them all sorted out. A lot of enthusiasm.
You can see that the Rhinos are winning the energy battle, but they've done 200 tackles to Hull FC's 150 odd, so they've got the better attitude, the better response to the defensive work that they've got to do. And Hull FC, that guy's an important player for them. Lee Radford is very much the tough man in the middle of the side, and if he's on, there is a lot more steel in this side.
Tickle goes down on the last. It's a quick play, the ball. Motu Tony found Berrigan. Berrigan then gets it inside to Danny Houghton. Houghton gives it to Tickle. Tickle then to Richard Horne. Something building here, maybe. Kick down the line, looking for Rayner's pace. Oh, Ryan Hall does well.
Great position, good kick as well. Very sensible kick, and Ryan Hall got himself into a position. They do work hard for each other, I must say. All right, they went through a little bit of a hiccup midway through this season, did the Rhinos, but slowly but surely they're getting back to their best. They've had their problems with injuries too.
Berrigan brings Ian Kirk to ground with Yeaman. Still deep in their own half on the fourth tackle, and now on the last they're still inside their own 40-metre zone. Leeds. Good set of 6 this from Hull. Maguire with the kick downfield. Awkward bounce. Motu Tony. It just gives Leeds just a few extra seconds, and the chase arrives. Ablett and Kirk doing the job on the fullback, who plays it to Rayner, and here is Yeaman. Needs something special to break this Leeds Rhinos defence down, won't it?
Yeah, looking for a different option, maybe a chip over the top. It's getting to that point. Nearly we're approaching the final quarter, so they're going to make sure they do something.
Bradford, Horne, this is Whiting. Good defence again. Everybody defends so well. Wingers and standoffs or scrum halves.
Well, Ryan Hall could see that they were doing the little run around, and he was coming back on that second phase. And Hall just picked him out. Thank you, come to me, and that's a knock-on.
It is a knock-on. Again, back-slapping defence by Ablett and Maguire. And Lee Radford just, well, he just threw his arms out then in despair.
I'm not sure about this one, me. I think with the attention that the Rhinos defenders are giving Lee Radford, I'm not sure he loses it rather than he gets it ripped out.
Ablett's hand is in there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Lee Radford had his pockets picked.
Yeah, I think he was hard done by there. Here is Senior through one tackle, gets the ball away to Ryan Hall. Calderwood saying he was impeded. Ryan Hall goes over for the try. Calderwood's chasing after the referee, asking him to go to the screen. He's pleading with him. He won't go. He will not go. Thierry Alibert, and Mark Calderwood is furious. Absolutely furious, Mark Calderwood. And, well, he'll have nothing to do with it. Thierry Alibert. And the touch judge told him to go away as well. Well, Ryan Hall has been challenged challenged by his coach, Brian McLennan, this year to make an England place his own for the Four Nations. And he's certainly given the touch judge a bit of a serve, as Mark Calder would. He needs to be careful because Stuart Fielden has a date with the disciplinary committee tomorrow for something that he is perceived to have said to a referee at Warrington on Friday. Anyway, at the end of it all, Calderwood feels are done by, but Ryan Hall gets the try that just might have broken the Hull backs here. And Sinfield makes it 6.
It was a brilliant try. Set move as well. Scrum base, short blind side. The big fella, Keith Senior, charging down that narrow end. It was superb. They knew exactly what was happening here. Not the best attempt. Bang, get out of the way. Ryan Hall says, Mr. Senior, please do not go in front. And Keith says, keep going, Ryan, keep going. That's an excellent, excellent try.
Tell you what, I think he's got a case, you know.
He certainly has. He certainly moved across his line, that is for sure.
Well, all that now is simply debatable. Hull have got the ball back with Richard Whiting. This is Dowds.
Well, they're only left with a little bit of pride now to try to get into the badge from the Hull side. It has been a very disjointed effort from them.
Here's Yeaman.
He doesn't deserve to be on the losing side, I must say. Kirk Yeaman he's been their most outstanding player throughout.
Berrigan's done well as well on his comeback. This is Thackeray. He won't want to be on a losing side against his former club, and he'll take them on, Thackeray.
And he will do something different as well. You're never quite sure what Thackeray's going to do.
Houghton here attacking the line. This is Motutoni. Oh, another one goes to ground. Brent Webb has it for Leeds.
Just hasn't been their night as well, but you're always going to run that risk. You know, Hull play that very flat passing game, and in doing so, that means by the time you're receiving the football, you're virtually... This is the incident where Calderwood's saying, go to the screen, and he said, I don't need to. And I must say, let's hope that the Rugby Football League do something very, very strongly about this and send out a letter to all the clubs. The last thing we want is to copy other sports in being disrespectful to the man with a whistle.
And to be fair, Steve, I think with the envy of the sporting world, I think our athletes respect the man in the middle. But I tend to take a look at Mark Calderwood's reaction there, and if the bloke is that passionate that he's been obstructed, then why not have a look at it?
Yeah, but there's a way to do it.
And everyone else, Barry, thought that he wasn't obstructed. that could be the reason. And also, you could say, well, everyone will have a go at the referee in the future if that's the case.
Well, not the best from Ryan Hall. He was hunting for glory.
Mind you, Senior diverted off the line, didn't he? He did run in front of him. And
he did, and he old-manned Mark Calderwood. And let's not forget, those two players played together. We'll just see the replay from that action there. Hull FC, not at any point have they give up the ghost in this game. They're still battling away. And even though they're 24 points down, they're fighting to get on their feet. And that man, Mike Burnett, earns his side a penalty.
Talking to Mike Burnett, I must say he's been the pick of the forwards, hasn't he, in regards to the visitors tonight. He's worked very, very hard indeed, but they've come up against a pretty solid defence from Leeds. Been very well balanced. Apart from the fight back when they Hull scored that early try to Whiting, I've just got the impression that Leeds have had the wood over their opposition all night.
Houghton, solid. Kylie Luda-White, absolutely solid.
And Danny Badiris is back on the pitch now. That's good news for the Rhinos. Recovered from that back injury.
Hull will come down this right channel with Richard Whiting. Well, he tried to just muscle or out-muscle Danny Maguire. Maguire stuck to him like glue and comes up with a smile on his face, Maguire as well. Here is Richard Horne. Finds Motutoni. Thackeray. Well, the ball is behind his neck. How can he hang on to that? And he can't. That's a penalty, though. It was nicked from him by Sinfield. I think he's got this right, Thierry Alibert.
Well, you can only see a short kick behind the line, which is a more difficult skill than what it appears. The only way that the whole side will break through it, they scored one way in that in the first half. Such is the impressive nature with which Leeds are defending this try line. 24 points in front.
Oh, there we go. Short pass from Horn, and Lee Radford through the gap.
Oh, I know this game.
It didn't take a kick. It took a little death pass from Richard Horn to the skipper, Lee Radford. And Radford comes up with a try. Only his second of 2009. But not much celebration by Hull. They know that they've got a lot of work to do still in this match.
Definitely reefed away. And that's the reason why they got good field position. And probably the first real opportunity that Richard Horn taking first receiver and has got a runner coming at the very right moment. It was outstanding rugby league football. Okay, only short pass. It doesn't matter how long, short, otherwise. If it puts you through the gap and gets you the 4 points, it makes you a better rugby league player. Can he add the 2?
Well, Tickle, you would think so, with wind at his back. He does. Danny Tickle converts the Lee Radford try. The Hull skipper, 6 years at the Bradford Bulls, back now for a second spell. And here's the, well, what Mark Calderwood will say is the controversial moment. Well, nothing much in it, but I suppose Senior doesn't have to get out of the way, does he?
He doesn't, but the lesson there really is to play to the whistle. Mark Calderwood puts his hands up in the air, and if I'm watching it again from that angle, then maybe as much as it pains me, you're right, both of you.
Whoops. Oh, we can't touch it, Bradford.
There'll be a knock-on. Yeah.
Richard Horn will say he didn't touch it with his hands. I don't know whether he did.
Yeah, you're right. It's hit the forearm. Well, it's hit the knee and maybe just brushed the elbow, but to be fair to Thierry Alibert, he was a long way downfield.
Brent Webb out wide to Scott Donald. Went to ground quickly when he saw Kirk Eamon coming at him. Here's Sinfield. Now it's Peacock.
Jamie Peacock there, Eddie, has been flirting with front row and second row, and 66 minutes he hasn't been off yet.
Oh, wonderful ball from Maguire to Keith Senior, who gets his second try and probably at last puts Hull FC to bed. A beautiful cutout ball from Kevin Sinfield, and Senior the recipient, and gets his second try of the night on this very special night for him, his 300th appearance in the Leeds colours.
He's been outstanding as well, hasn't he? Been involved in most of the attacking moves, and the long pass, oh, that's very poor defending, I've got to say. Positional wise, nothing short of shocking. Take nothing away though from the ability of this man. 300th game tonight, and what a way to celebrate. He'll be looking for the hat-trick.
Oh, he will. I think I actually credited Kevin Sinfield with the last pass to Senior. It was, of course, Danny Maguire. But Senior, well, that's his 152nd try for Leeds. Not many have been as easy as that.
You could credit Sinfield with the kick-off, though, which was too difficult for Richard Horn to gather.
Thanks, Phil. He adds the extras, Kevin Sinfield. It's 40 points to 16 in the champion's favour. Senior, the try scorer. Senior involved in the Mark Calderwood complaint. I must say, Keith Senior, if you notice, whenever a ball goes up into the corner for a high kick against his defence, Keith Senior, the try scorer there, he does act as a shield, doesn't he? Have you noticed him? He often just hangs around in front of the chasers.
He's a big boy.
He got that ball. He got that ball, though. He wasn't hanging around for anything then.
He's had a big game, and what a way to celebrate it. Sometimes in rugby league, oh, that's a shocker.
Bailey couldn't take
Took
that
his
pass
eye
in.
off, took
Nothing
his eye
wrong
off,
with the pass.
took his eye off the football. There's Senior saying, come on, smarten up, OK? Don't feel sorry for yourself. It's over.
Ryan Bailey, 4 Great Britain caps to his name. He was picked in the 2004 Tri-Nations tournament. Of course, this year it's the Four Nations tournament. France joining the party with England, Australia, New Zealand. The series you'll be able to see live on Sky Sports, of course. Back end of the year, after the grand final's been sorted out. I mean, we're nearly into June already. We're talking the year out here.
I know you're eager to get to that grand final, Eddie.
Well, no, I'm wishing my life away, actually.
Well, let's just have some sunshine in between before we get there. But for those who are watching tonight, don't miss it. Make sure you get in early for your tickets. It's whoever gets there. It's always a wonderful, wonderful occasion and a great game.
10 minutes here, and Richard Horne finds Mike Burnett. Burnett tried to slip the net, but Leeds defence again is quick. Houghton picked up by Ewan Dowes. Oh, wonderful again from Leeds, defending that line for all they're worth. You think it was 20 points to 16. There's another great bit of defensive quality. Low down. Horne. High kick. Finds Rayner. But the Leeds defence find Rayner and come up with the football with Lee Smith.
They'll want to get on with it as well. They'll try to get this ball out wide onto that left-hand side. Oh, messing around at the play of the ball area. Just has not been Hull's day, has it?
It hasn't.
Messing around.
Almost 16,000, we're told, inside Headingley tonight. Not since 2003, 6 years ago, has this fixture failed to attract 15,000 or more. So even though it's the last match of round 14 and Leeds and Hull and their supporters have had to wait all over the bank holiday weekend for this, they've still turned up in numbers for what is always a very, very eagerly awaited and attractive match between these two. Maguire to Webb. Here is Ryan Hall. Great power, great strength. Maguire with the latest Leeds try. Not given it yet.
Well, maybe he wants to see whether there might be some sort of obstruction way downfield.
Maybe Mark Calderwood's argument is suddenly
where's Keith
not
Senior?
there.
He runs a dummy run at his Keith. Well, I can't really see anything wrong with that because it is nowhere near, because the pass has virtually gone away. But I have seen them written off before, but to me, seeing it.
Do you know what will go against Leeds, Eddie, is the fact that when Webb receives the ball, he's on the inside of Keith Senior, not the outside of him. I still don't think there's any obstruction, and I agree this should be a try. But where the ball carrier receives possession is one of the things that the video referees are asked to look at. Is it inside of Senior or outside? That clearly was taken on the inside shoulder of Keith Senior.
Yes, in the strict letter of the law, you're probably right. But, I mean, there isn't anything much in it, is there?
No. No, I think if Webb would have dummied and gone through and scored, I think this would have been written off. I think this will be given.
Ben Thaler's decision is to wipe it out.
Well, technically that's right, isn't it? If you read the rules at the start of this season, otherwise we would start to get more American football style blockers going through, and
well,
we don't want that.
That's the point that Mark Calderwood made about Keith Senior 5 minutes, 6 minutes ago. And he does do it, certainly on the kickoffs, certainly in the chase.
A lot of teams do that, Eddie. It's called taxiing, it's called escorting. When a ball is kicked, if it's kicked to your team, you are taught to run at the side of your opposition and just run in the same tram tracks as them. Keith probably just does it better than everyone else because he's had more practice.
Maybe he does, but in the last one, apparently the difference was that he'd gone past the ball. Or he passed the ball, rather. He was involved. So he wasn't a dummy runner, but there he was.
I don't disagree with the penalty. I thought, I'm not being a smarty pants, but I spotted it when before the try had been scored. But Again, to talk about the Mark Calderwood thing, I know it happened a while ago, but it is a tactic that everybody uses.
Berrigan with the kick ahead. The referee
He's in front.
says that that's offside against... well, not against Sean Berrigan, because he put the kick in, didn't he?
I'm not so sure it was a kick. I think it was just reefed away from him.
No, it's a kick.
Oh, he tried to get to it, yeah.
The man's in front, and then
Yeah.
there's a knock on anyway.
Halfway. Come on. 10. Back 10. Okay.
Well, the game has definitely gone away from Hull, but the coach Richard Agar will look towards his second half with a lot of optimism in regards to the fact that maybe Sean Berrigan could be an option to partner Richard Orne in the future, because I feel that Danny Houghton deserves to have a run for the full 80 minutes. He's a smart hooker, is Houghton. So's this fella.
Senior plays it to Medeiros, he finds Maguire, and then they were just a little bit too quick.
He was touched. This should be head and feet to Leeds.
Oh, and now, well, Calderwood is deemed to have played at it, but then somebody in the Hull ranks has said a word out of place to the referee, and it's a penalty, and that's why Leeds are running it. Well, it would have been head and feet at the scrum to Leeds. Then someone back chatting Thierry Alibert, penalty, and they're under all sorts of pressure as Bailey drives it in and gets the ball away and then gets it back. Knock on.
Bailey's confused. Now he wants to have a few words to the official.
Well, he tried to offload it backwards, didn't
That
he?
went backwards, surely, didn't it?
Surely it did.
It certainly looked that way.
Here's the offload. It hits his arm, it goes backwards, and he regathers it. It's the worst offload ever, but he's offloaded it to himself.
You know, it's an interesting period in the season for Leeds, Eddie. They don't play now until, I think, a week on Saturday. That'll mean they played 3 games in a 34-day period. There's a lot of talk about player burnout and too many games over the Easter period. If anything, the difficulty for Leeds is managing the squad through this. Obviously, they'll get time to rest and recover from any chronic short-term injuries. But 3 games in 34 days test them as well, I think, physically and mentally, to be at the best. I mean, it should mean, in theory, they are fresher later in the season. But it doesn't always work that way.
Absolutely. And that was a loose carry, says the referee, by Danny Houghton. So here come Leeds again. This is Ryan Hall.
Would you pick him on the wing for England, Phil?
Without a doubt. You know, I came here today with that question on a piece of paper in front of me. You know what? He's not scored the tries he scored for Leeds just because he's on the best field. He makes more breaks, he busts more tackles than any other of the Leeds players. He's a quality player, and hopefully against, you know, Mark Calderwood, who is our last England winger in the World Cup, I think we've seen tonight Ryan Hall may well be the future.
What about you, Steve-O?
Here, and I'd pick him straight away. And the one thing about it, he's big, he's strong. And if he gets anywhere near the line, though, I must say, that Maguire try that was turned down, he could have gone on his own. He wasn't selfish, and it shows that he's a team player as well.
Well, he's joined top now of the try-scoring charts in the Super League, alongside Wigan's Sean Ainscough. And Maguire with a great kick. And at this time, it is fielded by Gareth Rayner behind his own goal line. Tap restart, and away he goes, Mark Calderwood. But Leeds know better than most the danger that he poses with that little tactic. He did it for so many years here at Headingley for the Rhinos.
And effectively too. Yep. It's been a key factor. The Rhinos' defence has been solid.
Richard Horn takes tackle number 3. Here is Berrigan. In an outstanding defence from Leeds. They've been pretty hot in attack as well. 3 minutes to go. It's Richard Horn. Put down the line from Horn, and Webb has it. Gets away from Whiting. Running flat and across his own post, says to Donald, will you have a go then?
But it's a smart move, isn't it? You know, the fullback looks as though he's going down a cul-de-sac, and he finds a player to help him. You know, that's thinking. Scott Donald. not just standing out wide on the right wing saying, oh well, you know, I'm nowhere near the effort. And that's the difference between, you know, really good sides and average sides. They work hard irrespective of what position they are on the field.
Badeiras, Burgess, 2 minutes remaining, 14 points to 16. Some will say, I suppose, a little harsh, the scoreline on Hull, but Leeds have been in control, haven't they? From the moment that Lee Smith scored the... Oh, brilliant ball from Kevin Sinfield again. Maguire off the outside of the boot, off the knees of Donald, play on. He is Big Ali Lawatiti. Lawatiti tried to get it away. Rayner tidies up the danger for Hull. But they have Leeds, they've been in control from the moment Lee Smith gave them the lead.
They have, and by their own standards, they haven't just quite been at their best for the last month or 6 weeks, and I think this kind of scoreline, Luke Burgess just catches Gareth Rayner a little bit too high. And I think they've been going to do this to somebody, yeah, that's high, no doubt about that, at some point, and they've had to be patient, they've had to grind this Hull FC team down because they are a good side. You only have to look at the team sheet, there's some quality internationals there, and I know that some of them haven't performed to their best tonight for Hull FC, but given the chance and given the opportunity, then they would have done.
And how about the point, Barry, that Phil made? Because they are out of the Challenge Cup, Leeds, well, they will be, as he said, playing in a week on Saturday. Oh, Sinfield has nicked the ball. Sinfield has nicked the ball and has nicked 4 points. That crowns an outstanding personal display from Kevin Sinfield, it really does. Well, I don't know what he's looking at here, because it was
he's
a
seeing whether there's two men in the tackle, Thierry Alibert, and I was going to make the point in the first half, players and coaches don't mind as long as the decisions are right. How many times that we go back to the video referee? Does Scott Donald get involved in that tackle before Kevin Sinfield gets hold of it?
Never. It's going to be a try, this. And so while it's sorted out academically, what about the point that Phil made? 3 games in 34 days. That's got to be manna from heaven for Leeds, surely.
Of course it has, and they've been a little bit, as Leeds get the try, they've been a little bit fortunate with their injuries this year. The injuries that they have had to people like Lee Smith, they've been able to manage their other people, bring some young players in, and as I said, although they haven't been at their best on a lot of occasions this year, they certainly have tonight. Ewan Dowse takes this ball up and offloads it to Jamie Thacker, who's not expecting it and doesn't have any kind of control over it. We all know Jamie Thacker is a good player, but he does have a loose carry. Kevin Sinfield would know that more than most. And as I say, it sometimes frustrates me. I've known Kevin Sinfield a long time. He's an exceptional player, but we only seem to notice him when he's below standards that he sets for himself.
Just to try and add a little bit of cream on the top, and he does. Kevin Sinfield, 46 points to 16. They scored on the half-time siren. They scored on the full-time siren. It has been pretty impressive all the way through from the Leeds Rhinos. They led from the 5th minute, and they have run in no fewer than 8 tries. And it's been a night to remember for Keith Senior, his 300th appearance for the champions. He is the man of the match, and he's talking to Bill.
Keith, what a great way to celebrate 300 appearances.
I went for a hat-trick and I just didn't seem to be able to score them tonight, but yeah, great game, really enjoyed it tonight.
The third one didn't come, did it? You were looking for it, weren't you?
Yeah, you know, like I said in a few interviews, I feel like I'm 21 at the moment, so I was all over the park trying to find that hat-trick, but it just weren't coming tonight.
You think you're enjoying a new lease of life?
Yeah, definitely, you know, I'm enjoying my rugby at the moment, and that's the most important thing. If you're enjoying it, then, you know, you keep going as long as you can.
Might that be something to do with there's no pressure on, you know, you've said you're not going to consider an international future now, you're really just playing for the club?
You know, that's, you know, something that I took, you know, to pay something back towards Leeds Rhinos. You know, they paid a lot of, you know, credit towards me, so, you know, I've retired from international, so I can concentrate 100% on them.
to do a job like this on a side like Hull, that's pretty good going, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we were a bit disappointed at half-time about some of the tries that we conceded. You know, we made a few scrappy errors, but, you know, like you say, Hull are a quality side, and, you know, to keep them, you know, nil would be a very tough task, so we're definitely happy with the result.
300 up, Keith. How many more?
Well, you know, that's 300 for Leeds, so, you know, they're still counting, and maybe I might even reach that 600 mark.
Oh, steady on. Let's bring Kevin Sinfield in, another of the try scorers tonight. Neat steal that at the end.
Bit lucky, weren't it? It's a good win for us tonight. I think, well, we lost the last 3 at home and not been here for a month, so it's a big night for us to make sure we got the 2 points. And we knew all were fired up. They're desperate for a win as well, so credit to our guys. I thought 1-17 we all dug in.
This was a bit more like it, wasn't it? As you say, since March the 27th, you've been out without a home win. This may be a bit more like the Rhinos of old.
Oh, it's a start for us. We've come up against some very determined sides and been embarrassed at home a little bit, so to get the result tonight was important for us, and we can kick on from here. We've got another big turnaround now, being out of the cup, so trip to France.
Thanks, Kevin.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, this has been Leeds Rhinos' biggest win of the season we have watched on Sky Sports tonight. 46 points to 16. It doesn't do anything as far as the Leeds Rhinos are concerned in terms of position in the table, but it does bring them back to within a point of Hull Kingston Rovers and 2 of St Helens, and Hull stay where they began. Also, they finish this weekend 6 in the table. An excellent performance from Leeds, Phil, and Kevin Sinfield actually could have been another candidate for man of the match. I thought he was brilliant.
Yes, he could. I mean, you know, Leeds with the speed and skill that they have tend to like it when the weather gets warmer, the pitches get firmer, and they've demonstrated tonight. Very often in the middle of summer, they really do embarrass an opponent. Tonight it happened to be the Hull side, didn't it? They decided to rack up the points. Hull had to be at their very best to have any chance of winning here. And yet when you make an error from a goal line dropout and one from a kick-off just to pick out 2, you don't really give yourselves a chance of winning against the champions.
Well, Steve-O isn't a charitable character unless the cause is very good. But tonight you were charitable to the old man, to Mr. Senior. I think sentiment proved the winner in the end, but he played very well.
He played exceptionally well as far as I'm concerned. Scored 2 tries and created 2 tries. Now, to me, that is a match-winning performance, irrespective of what Eddie may feel. Yes, Kevin Sinfield had a tremendous game. It was a superb effort from the Rhinos. I was very, very happy, and I'm sure that their coach will be very pleased with that performance. But I must say that Richard Agar has a lot of problems. He's got to sort a few things out. They never really got off to a very good start, and I must say that the form of Chris Thorman in that first 40 minutes, he just had a shocker. It's as simple as that. And when one of your star players doesn't perform, you're always going to be behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, Richard Agar has a few problems, but on the plus side for Hull, Phil, Motu Tony lasted most of the match. So too did Gareth Rayner. Berrigan showed touches. You know, they get their players fit, and they're still going to be a force.
I think they'll win more than half of the games left this season, and that will give them a chance to be in the playoffs. And then you never know, do you, if you hit form at the right time. Gareth Rayner is a very dangerous player on the wing, and I think when he starts to run the ball better, and I think they find some combinations really at the moment. A lot of individual efforts from Hull, I felt, and you know, some decent ones, some poor ones, as Mike's pointed out. But when they get it together, they'll win a few matches.
Well, we hope so for Richard Agar and Hull's sake. We will have a look at all of this weekend, the elongated weekend, tomorrow, boots and all, Sky Sports 3, first at 6. Watch that and then go to the Champions League after that on Sky Sports 1. Boots and all, the build-up to the Champions League, and 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 3. Thursday, Featherstone against Leeds is on Sky Sports 3 as well from the Championship. And on Saturday, a little bonus for you, Celtic Crusaders against the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. That's a 7 o'clock start on Sky Sports 1 and HD1 again. Leeds have been outstanding tonight, and it's going to take a very good team to take this championship away from them. From Steve-O, Phil and me, thanks for being there. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.